Welcome to On Point. It's been a crazy week, and I've kind of said that almost every week with everything that's been going on politically. Uh, Almost every day, sometimes every hour, sometimes almost every minute, there's something new that's coming at us. Some things that are shocking, and you wonder how we're going to get from point A to point B with this pandemic, with the election. There are a lot of things that are going on. So I wanted to do something different before I get into what has happened within the past couple of days this week, and of course the debate with days before the election. I wanted to read something to you, and it comes out of the book of Proverbs, and it reads this. It says, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." The question is, what is wisdom? How do we get it? There are so many things that are coming at us, all sorts of information, things that we have to kind of filter, decipher, discern, try to understand. You know, as a journalist, I try to give information to people. I try to give them information so they can make decisions and give them wisdom. I remember several years ago when I was out at a golf outing, Zachary Carter, who was a U.S. attorney in the Eastern District here and presided over the Abdul Louima trial. We were at a golf outing together, and he says, Julian, we rely on you journalists to get us information that we're simply too busy to get." And at that point, this is many years ago, it really dawned on me how serious my job is as a journalist, to get information to people that they are too busy to get themselves. The question is the information that you're getting good information? Is it giving you wisdom? In this day and age, we have all sorts of social media outlets. We have blogs, we have newspapers, we have all sorts of stations, cable news stations, networks, and all of them, and I say all of them to a certain degree, have an agenda. There are conservative outlets, there are liberal outlets, there are all sorts of things out there where you can get your information, and many things that are just coming at you minute by minute, sometimes second by second, and your mind becomes so overloaded. What is truth? What is not truth? I'm coming to you with a show called On Point, and I'm giving you information. Is it true? Is there wisdom behind this? I would like to hope so. I just want to let folk know, with all the voices that are out there, I didn't ask to do this. I didn't feel a need for myself to come with a show so people could hear what I have to say. I was requested. There are people that came to me that said, "Julian, we need to hear your voice." And I struggled with this because I'm saying to myself, well, who wants to really hear what I have to say? Really, who am I? Am I somebody that's so great and lofty that they should listen to what I have to say? So I struggled with this before accepting the responsibility of a show like this. And I struggle with it for every show because what I try to do is take myself out of the equation and bring in information and knowledge so I can give that to you for wisdom, for discernment. You don't have to agree with everything I say or the things that are coming out of my mouth, the information that I give you, but at least I'm trying to give you something so you can make intelligent decisions on your life personally and how you deal with people in the world. It's a very lofty and thing to do. I have 3 Emmy nominations. No, I have 3 Emmys, 9 nominations. I stopped applying for the Emmys the year my mother died because I realized that I wasn't in this, for me personally, to get statues. I was in this to give people information. So I could probably have more Emmys behind my desk and But I stopped. The last MA I actually got, I didn't even apply for. Somebody else put that in for me, my producer. So for me, this is serious business. I take it seriously. I'm also a lay minister. I take that seriously. People have come to me on several occasions to preside over funerals. They've called me to give them a word. And I struggle with this. Why? Because I want to make sure on that end, on a theological end, that people are coming to me for a word from God, then I want to make sure to the best of my ability that it's not me that's talking. It's God. This is serious business. Getting wisdom. Let's talk about what has happened this past week in this whirlwind election. A few things that have happened I want to highlight. You may have heard that the FBI came out. John Ratcliffe, he's Director of National Intelligence. And of course, FBI Director Chris Wray came out with this press conference about Iran and Russia interfering with our election. Well, it was said that Iran did this to thwart Trump. And when I was looking at the information they were talking about, these guys called the Proud Boys, and President Trump said to stand by and stand back, or stand back and stand by. The information that they were giving, according to the Director of National Intelligence, came through Iran, saying that the Proud Boys are saying, look, if you don't vote for Trump, if you vote for Trump, there's going to be trouble. We're going to be looking for you. I don't know how that helps Trump. Nothing much was mentioned about Russia. Why did this come out now? Is this the Republicans' version of the October surprise? Could be. But the question is, how true is it? Iran denies it. I'm not saying that I believe anything they say either. But what was the purpose of this? It was information, and information designed to do something, to put something in your mind. But how true is it? That's one thing. Then we have the Supreme Court nomination, Amy Coney Barrett. Okay, Coney Barrett. She comes out now, and she has been approved by the Senate Judiciary Committee now for a full Senate vote, confirmation on her. Now, I remember when Barack Obama was president, the Republicans denounced Obama for coming up with a Supreme Court nomination 7 or 8 months before the election. Here we are days, and they're trying to rush this through. And we have on tape and witnessed what Mitch McConnell has said, okay, what Lindsey Graham has said. You can take this to the bank. We should not have any kind of nomination prior to an election. What makes this different? Oh, well, you know, the Republicans are in control. And Mitch McConnell said that. But who do we believe? At the face value, it's hypocrisy on the Republicans' part. And the Democrats have come up with their own issues of hypocrisy themselves. So who do you believe? What do you know? I remember years ago, my former pastor, Dr. A.R. Bernard, great theologian, as I've always said, he was preaching to a group of inmates in a prison. And he said something to get their attention, and it was so profound. He said, you know, you wouldn't know your name if somebody didn't tell you it. We don't know anything unless somebody tells us something. But what is truth? What is it? How do you know what you're hearing is truth? I was shopping yesterday at a supermarket, and I overheard two workers there saying, oh, well, you know, we just heard that now that they're saying that, you know, being quarantined, you know, does not make a difference. It doesn't keep you from getting the coronavirus. And I just had to chime in, and I said, well, who told you this? Where did you hear this from? And they couldn't recall exactly where they heard it, but they heard it. And I think to a certain extent, they believed it. Or at the very worst, they were just confused. Wisdom. How do we get it? Especially in a time like this with a pandemic, over 200,000 people have lost their lives. And then we're hearing conflicting information. We have a president who spews all sorts of lies, almost minute by minute. So that brings me to the debate, the last debate, much more civil than the first one. But what was said is true and not true by either candidates. And we can break that down. But I don't want to get so much into that because I think right now with early voting, over 40 million people have already cast their ballots. They have made up their minds based upon what they have heard, what they have seen, what they have been influenced by, and at the end of the day, what they are willing to believe. So with November 3rd coming and everything that's coming at us, issues of health, issues of government, issues of our own democracy, the very issues of race. Why are we still dealing with this? Why do people feel and believe the way they do? What do we believe? There was a scene in Enter the Dragon. I'm an old martial artist, and Bruce Lee was kicking everybody's butt. And he got to a point where he got trapped in a pit, and there was no way out. And after realizing there was nothing he could do, he sat down in a lotus position and he just started to meditate. And I believe that what he was doing was praying. Here's my point. When you're starting to get a lot of information and you're not sure where to turn or what to believe, or even if you want to test your beliefs, and I believe that everybody should test what they believe in because otherwise they don't deserve to have an opinion. I think the ultimate thing to do, no matter what religion you are, is to pray. I'm a prayer warrior. I pray most often before I make very, very important decisions. I probably should pray more. But when it comes to accepting a show like this, like On Point, which again was not my idea, I was requested, or when I've been requested to pray for somebody or to perform a funeral or give them a word of comfort, I pray to lessen me and increase the one who I believe created me. Prayer does change things. And it says in the Bible, the prayers of a righteous man availeth a lot. Right now, there are so many things coming at us. Some of us have voted, some of us have not voted. But prayer, I believe, draws out character and morality. So here's a question I have for you. If you're looking for that outside of your 401k plan or outside of how much money you're making personally to benefit yourself, morality. And when you start to pray on things, you start to think about certain things. As far as this election is concerned, do you want a president that cages children and families? Is this moral? I don't care if he says that, well, President Obama built the cages. Well, he didn't have people in them. I don't know what he built them for. If that's true, I don't know. Again, wisdom. But do you want somebody like that? Do you want somebody who basically disavows science and says that, we'll get over this? As with this past week, almost 70,000 people became infected. 1,000 are dying. Do you want somebody like that? Do you want somebody who mocks disabled journalists? Do you want somebody that just spews insults all the time? Sophomoric, childish. Do you want somebody that never takes credit for anything wrong, but always takes credit for things that are good, even though that person was not responsible for those things? Now, I'm not saying that Joe Biden is a saint either, but at least he did come out and say he did make some mistakes with that 1994 crime bill. At least he admitted it. And he says that he's going to try to make things better. Now, again, as I said, voting is one thing, but keeping people accountable is another. Democracy is not a spectator sport. It's not a spectator sport. So the question is, what kind of character do you want in a leader? You got to pray about this and really think about it. Because I think that if you do, you'll know deep down in your heart what kind of person you want to lead this country. Not a perfect person, not a person who's totally righteous. We're all flawed. We're all damaged goods. I'm at the front of the pack with that. I admit it. I embrace it, and that's why I embrace Jesus for me, because I know that I can't exist without him. I can't do what I do without him. Yes, I have questions. At some point when I go to heaven, hopefully, I have plenty of questions for him about things I didn't understand down here. But I walk by faith and not by sight. Wisdom. Seek it. Run after it. Embrace it in these times. And no matter what happens after November 3rd, no matter who gets in, understand there is something much greater than yourself that's the mover and shaker of all things. Goodness and righteousness always wins out in the end, but usually it comes at a high cost. But no matter the cost, no matter how high we must climb, we must continue to seek that wisdom, righteousness, goodness, mercy, love. That's what we must do. There are only days left now to November 3rd. If you haven't voted, vote. If you have voted, pray that your selection was right. And hopefully, no matter whatever the outcome is, just pray and believe that righteousness, justice, mercy, and love somehow, some way will prevail. We'll see you next week.